Old Testament. The first part of the Christian Bible, comprising 39 books and corresponding approximately to the Hebrew Bible. In this video, we're gonna find out when it was written, what are the stories that belong to the Old Testament, who wrote it, and was Jesus really mentioned in the Old Testament. Before going into this video, if you haven't subscribed already, go hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you won't miss any of my new videos. I've already uploaded many historical and mythological videos. If you're interested, go check them out. Now let's get into this video. The Old Testament is the first division of the Christian biblical canon, which is based primarily upon the 24 books of the Hebrew Bible. It is also called as Tanak. Old Testament is a collection of ancient religious Hebrew writings by the Israelites. The second division of Christian Bibles is the New Testament, written in the Koine Greek language. Old Testament is the sacred book of the Jewish people. It tells about the Jews, their history, and God's words to them in the time before Jesus Christ was born. In Judaism, the Hebrew Bible is not only the primary text of instruction for a moral life but also the historical record of God's promise, first articulated in his covenant with Abraham, to consider the Jews his chosen people. Christians, on the other hand, view it as the prophecy of the advent of Jesus Christ as the Messiah, the Redeemer of humanity, in fulfillment of that promise. Thus, Christian tradition employs the Hebrew Scriptures to legitimize the gospel of Jesus in the New Testament as the natural extension of the Abrahamic covenant. The name Old Testament was coined by Melito of Sardis in the 2nd century CE. It is longer than the Hebrew Bible, in part because Christian editors divided particular works into two sections but also because different Christian groups consider as canonical some texts not found in the Hebrew Bible. For example, although the Hebrew canon consists of 24 books, the Old Testament of Roman Catholics comprises 46 books and that of most Protestant churches has 39. The Old Testament consists of many distinct books and was not written by a single author but by various authors produced over a period of centuries. Christians traditionally divide the Old Testament into 4 sections. The first 5 books are Pentateuch, which corresponds to the Jewish Torah, the history books telling the history of the Israelites, from their conquest of Canaan to their defeat and exile in Babylon. The poetic and wisdom books, dealing, in various forms, with questions of good and evil in the world, and the books of the biblical prophets, warning of the consequences of turning away from God. The Old Testament was written between about 1200 and 100 BC. The first 5 books of the Old Testament are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and the last book is the Book of Malachi. Genesis name derives from the opening words, "in the beginning." It narrates the primeval history of the world and the patriarchal history of the Israelite people. The sentence which God said, "Let there be light," is very popular and used in many mainstream movies, TV shows and comic books nowadays. I don't know if you have heard about this, but the name of the Jewish and Christian God is Yahweh or Jehovah. Old Testament contains many laws or rules said by God which is considered immoral in today's world. Many of you may have heard many biblical stories like the story of creation, Adam and Eve, the Tower of Babel, Abraham's covenant, story of Noah, Moses, David and Goliath. They are from the Old Testament. The Old Testament's God seems a much different God than the New Testament God which Jesus describes. The Old Testament God seemed to be favoring the Israelites more than the other people. In many stories, it was written that the Israelites were the chosen people, the blessed people, and even God said that the Israelites were the firstborns. I'll upload more about the differences between the Old Testament God and the New Testament God in my future videos. Many of the stories from the Old Testament were thought to have been took inspiration from the Sumerian myths and other myths of the world. The story of creation, Adam and Eve, were thought to have been taken from a Sumerian myth which has the kinda same story and was written before the Old Testament. The famous Great Flood story from the Old Testament can be seen in many mythologies and cultures around the world like Indian, Greek and Sumerian. It should be noted that the first epic of the world, the Epic of Gilgamesh, a Sumerian epic, tells about a great flood which washed away the lives of the world, caused by the god or gods and a survivor who populated the world like Noah. It was written many years before the flood story that was written in the Old Testament. Okay, now let's see, did the Old Testament really prophesize Jesus? Well, it didn't directly predict Jesus, but had some verses which can be seen as a prophecy of Jesus or his deeds. Isaiah 53 is probably the most famous example claimed by Christians to be a messianic prophecy fulfilled by Jesus. It speaks of one known as the suffering servant, who suffers because of the sins of others. Jesus is said to fulfill this prophecy through his death on the cross. I'll make a separate video on the prophecies which were fulfilled or thought to have been fulfilled by Jesus. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you like this video, tap the thumbs up icon, share to your friends and family, comment and subscribe to this channel. It helps me immensely and motivates me to make more videos. Also watch my other videos and check out my playlists. I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching.